Now, hello again. I'm doing this paragraph again. When the king said to him that he is lying, or he is saying the thing which is not, Gulliver shakes his head. I could not forbear shaking my head and smiling a little at his ignorance. I gave him a description of cannons, culverins, muskets, carabines, pistols, bullets, powder, swords, bayonets, battles, sieges, retreats, attacks, undermines, countermines, bombardments, sea fights, ships sunk with 1,000 men, 20,000 killed on each side, dying groans, limbs flying in the air, smoke, noise, confusion, trampling to death under horses' feet, flight, pursue, victory. So it gives him the violent descriptions of the war in humanity. Fields strewed with carcasses left for food to dogs and wolves and birds of prey, plundering, stripping, ravishing, burning, and destroying. And to set forth the valor of my own dear countrymen, I assured him that I had seen them blow up 100 enemies at once in a siege, as many in a ship, and beheld the dead bodies come down in pieces from the clouds, to the great diversion of the spectators. So this detailed, violent description of the wars disturbs the master. I was going on to more particulars when my master commanded me to silence. Doesn't want to hear anymore. He said, whoever understood the nature of Yahoos might easily believe it possible for so vile an animal to be capable of every action I had named, if their strength and cunning equaled their malice. So now the master realizes that although Gulliver looks much cleaner, civiller, and gentler than the Yahoos in his country, the human beings are more violent than the Yahoos, he realizes. And this is very similar to Brobdingnagian king. In Brobdingnag, the king told him to stop, don't say anymore, don't offer gunpowder to me. Here, the same thing is happening. He tells him about the wars and he says, stop, don't mention it. But as usual, as it happened in Brobdingnag, Gulliver wants to show him the good sides of his own country, and he wants to tell him about the laws. On the next page, I assured his honor that law was a science wherein I had not much conversed, further than by employing advocates in vain upon some injustices that had been done me. However, I would give him all the satisfaction I was able. I said, there was a society of men among us, bred up from their youth in the art of proving by words multiplied for the purpose that white is black, black is white, according to as they are paid. So, who is this? Who are these people? Lawyers. Lawyers are these people. He says that according to how much you pay them, they argue that white is black, black is white, according to what you pay. Or right is wrong, wrong is right. To this society, all the rest of the people are slaves. For example, if my neighbor hath a mind to my cow, if my neighbor wants my cow, all right, he hires a lawyer to prove that he ought to have my cow from me. Good idea. If he wants to have my cow or my car now in the modern life, let's call it a car. If my neighbor wants my car, all right, he hires a lawyer and the lawyer tries to prove that my neighbor can have my car legally. Then I must then hire another to defend my right, it being against all rules of law that any man should be allowed to speak for himself. Now in this case, I, who am the right owner, lie under two great disadvantages. First, my lawyer, being practiced almost from his cradle in defending falsehood, this is very bad, lawyers are defending falsehood, is quite out of his element when he would be an advocate of justice, which, as an office unnatural, he always attempts with ill will. The second disadvantage is that my lawyer must proceed with great caution, or else he will be reprimanded by the judges, or abhorred by his brethren, that would lessen the practice of law. The first is to gain over my adversary's lawyer with a double fee. All right, so I pay my lawyer, but my neighbor and the other lawyer will pay my lawyer a double fee not to defend me. Double fee, who will then betray his client by insinuating that he had justice on his side. The second way is for my lawyer to make my cause appear as unjust as he can by allowing the cow to belong to my adversary. And this, if it be skillfully done, will certainly bespeak the favor of the bench. So, the terrible certainty of justice is explained here by Gulliver. All right, he describes the court, house of courts. He describes the lawyers, and he describes that justice cannot properly work. In chapter 6, of course, all of these things are very strange to the master, the Honium master, because they never lie in this society. My master was yet wholly at a loss to understand what motives could incite this race of lawyers to perplex. Okay. So, now he tells him about the financial system. Therefore, I was at much pains to describe him the use of money, because Honiums do not have money. They don't have a financial system. The materials it was made of, the value of the metals, that when a Yahoo had got a great store of this precious substance, he was able to purchase whatever he had a mind to. Don't you? If you have enough money, you can buy whatever you want. The finest clothing, the noblest houses, great tracts of land, the most costly meats and drinks, and have his choice of the most beautiful females, usually. Therefore, since money alone was able to perform all these feats, our Yahoos thought they could never have enough of it to spend or save, as they found themselves inclined from their natural bent either to profusion or avarice. So, Yahoos, humans, are never satisfied, and they never believe that they have enough money. That the rich man enjoyed the fruit of the poor man's labor. The latter were 1,000 to 1 in proportion to the former. So, the rich man gets richer by the labor of the poor people. That the bulk of our people were forced to live miserably by laboring every day for small wages to make a few live plentifully. So majority of the population work for a small wage, small money, to make a minority of people happy. I enlarged myself much on these and many other particulars to the same purpose, but his honor was still to seek, for he went upon a supposition that all animals had, especially those who presided over the rest. Therefore he desired I would let him know what these costly meats were, how any of us happened to want them. whereupon I enumerated as many thoughts as came into my mind. All right, and further in the same paragraph, but what he chiefly wondered at was how such vast tracts of ground as I described should be holy without fresh water, and the people put to the necessity of sending over the sea for drink. I replied that England, the dear place of my nativity, was computed to procure 3 times the quantity of food, more than its inhabitants are able to consume, as well as liquors extracted from grain. But, they can produce 3 times more than they can consume, and also to drink 3 times more than they can consume. But in order to feed the luxury and intemperance of the males, the vanity of the females, we sent away the greatest part of our necessary things to other countries. So whereas the people in their own nation are hungry and poor, they are sending their extra products to other countries to earn money. All right. From whence in return we brought materials of diseases, folly, and wise to spend among ourselves. Hence, it follows of necessity that vast numbers of our people are compelled to seek their livelihood by begging. Although they consume 3 times more than although they produce 3 times more than they can consume, majority of the people are very poor. They begging, robbing, stealing, cheating, pimping, forswearing, flattering, suborning, forging, gaming, lying, phoning, hectoring, voting, scribbling, stargazing, poisoning, whoring, canting, libeling, free-thinking, and the like occupations, every one of which terms I was at much pains to make him understand. The Honium master doesn't understand these. Stealing, robbing, what are those? I skipped 2 pages. I told him that a first of or chief minister of state, who was the person I intended to describe, was a creature wholly exempt from joy and grief, love and hatred, pity and anger. Chief minister of a state, let's say president of a state. Now imagine the president of a state. They are exempt from joy and grief. They don't have any expressions on their faces. No joy, no grief, no expression. No love, no hatred, no pity, no anger. A dull face. At least made use of no other passions but a violent desire of wealth, power, titles. They don't have any, their face do not express any feeling, but they have a violent desire for wealth, power, title. That he applies his words to all uses except to the indication of his mind. That he never tells the truth, but with an intent that you should take it for a lie. Yeah? They never tell the truth. When they tell the truth, you should take it as a lie. Nor a lie, but with a design that you should take it for truth. When they lie, you must take it for the truth. When they tell the truth, you must say that that's a lie. So politicians, that those he speaks worst of behind their backs are in the surest way of preferment. Oh, this is very familiar. We can see these examples, The people who speak badly about them are their favorites around them. A few years ago, let's imagine that, not our country, let's imagine that a few years ago, one minister may be talking about the president in a bad way. Now, he is one of his favorites, standing next to him. But he was talking about him in a very bad way. So it's written here. Those he speaks worst of behind their backs are in the surest way of preferment. Whenever he begins to praise you to others or to yourself, you are from that day forlorn, gone, dead. Whenever the president starts talking about you in a very good way, praising you all the time, to you and to the others, you should understand that the next day you're going to be sent away. The worst mark you can receive is a promise. The worst mark you can receive is a promise. When they promise you, never believe. Especially when it is confirmed with an oath, after which every wise man retires, gives over all hopes. There are 3 methods by which a man may rise to power, to be chief minister. 3 methods to be chief minister. The first is by knowing how with prudence to dispose of a wife. Okay, if you dispose your wife, then this is one of your chances to be the chief minister. A daughter or a sister. The second, by betraying or undermining his predecessor. All right, you have to betray your own predecessors. The third is by a furious zeal in politic assemblies against the corruptions of the court. So you must talk violently and furiously, angrily against the corruption in the court. Then you are there. Okay? And the second, betraying, undermining your predecessors. The palace of a chief minister, the next paragraph. The palace of a chief minister is seminary to breed up others in his own trade. The pages, lackeys, porter, and by imitating their master, become ministers of state in their several districts, learn to excel in the 3 principal ingredients of insolence, lying, and bribery. So, they must be excellent in 3 things: insolence, lying, bribery. Accordingly, they have a subaltern called, paid to them by persons of the best rank, sometimes by the force of dexterity and impudence, arrive through several gradations to be successors to their lord. These are all shocking to the Honeyum master, of course. So, this is all for today. And next week we're going to finish the book. And the final week of the term, we will read some criticism and some review of everything. Okay. I think there's a question coming up. Okay.